Guys, welcome to a new video. Today, I am reacting to what the Undertale did to Undertale. What the internet did to Undertale. And I've not watched this video, but from the thumbnail, it looks like this is a mix between Sans, Error Sans, and a few others. Fell Sans, maybe?
Undertale is a tiny game released on the 15th of September 2015
Someone slept in a bed.
and started life as a $5,000 Kickstarter.
Damn.
And it's here you can see its creator Toby Fox's bewilderment as the budget soars to 10 times his initial ask, as well as little updates like Fox having to take time away from development to sit
That just makes sense.
his college exams. And what I find interesting about these posts is you can see in them a person who had no idea what he was making.
Yeah, it makes sense. Because to him, it wasn't that big of an idea, but it will become that.
Or what it would become, and how could he? 5 years later, Undertale has become one of the most massive and bewildering forces on the internet. Seriously, I've done 2 videos like this, and exploring those fandoms, it felt like digging through a mine, but Undertale's was more like staring...
Whoa. Overright. I see that's the stuff. But I also saw something.
It felt like digging through a mine.
What? What is this?
But Undertale's was more like staring into a massive, yawning abyss, infinite and ever expanding. And what I want to do today is look at how that happened, how the internet took this tiny little game and transformed it into one of the most loved and hated phenomenon online.
Now it's Echo, Omega Flowey, don't know that one.
And to do this,
Cross, maybe?
We need to start with Undertale itself. I'm guessing a lot of you know the deal with Undertale. You play as Frisk, a small child who has fallen into an underground kingdom of monsters, and from here you can treat them like you would in any other RPG and murder them, or become their friend.
I forgot all about this.
It's a cute idea, but in isolation,
I actually only... So sorry. Wait, hold on. I think I saw that in a Merg video.
wasn't that new or interesting in 2000.
So sorry, this creature is definitely
games like Moon
having
having very similar concepts but releasing 18 years earlier, with non-lethal runs in games being popular by this time.
Yes.
So why then is the simple choice of Undertale's battles a big deal?
Because it introduces consequences, like Sans judges you. At least that's what I get from it. Sans judges you for what you do. It feels like the world is real. More than a normal video game where you just get like, oh no, a bad boss attacking you. But Sans is a difficult boss. Because he knows you'll win, right? He knows you'll win against him. So what he does is, instead of making it difficult, he makes you annoyed. It's easy to master his attacks after a bit. But then you see the time you've wasted. And
I think there's 2 answers to that. The first being its characters. Undertale has great characters, and how much you...
Papyrus. Yeah, he's a fun character. Okay, never mind.
Agree with that is going to define how you feel about this game. Take a character like Undyne. Initially, she just seems like a human murdering.
A very annoying character that is way to think last, do first. Do first, think last.
Machine, but spend time with her and you'll see that her more homicidal tendencies are just an expression of her loyalty to Asgore. That's how much her friendships mean to her. Whether it's knowing Papyrus isn't suited to combat and teaching him to cook instead, or...
He's also weak. Like, ridiculously weak. Like, I know people say he's strong, also Toby Fox there, but I know lots of people say Pyrus is super strong, but he isn't really strong, if it's strong at all. Yes, he's totally normal attack, but that was just him playing around. That was his special attack. And yes, right, he wasn't moving, that doesn't mean he put no effort.
Appreciating Alphys's pathetic love of anime. She's someone who's able to see people for what they are rather than what they wish they were, and is able to love them for those reasons. And learning all this about a character who first seemed like a standard RPG boss is really endearing. But that...
Yeah, kinda. But I think the problem is people can't do a genocide run after. Like, I always find it's easy to kill Undying, because I hate her. But I guess for people that, like, they, like, you know, that generally like the characters because they, like, you know, I can't explain it. The characters have got a personality they like, then yeah, it's probably hard for a genocide run.
But that same discovery exists for each major character of Undertale, whether it's Alfie's self-deprecating humor hiding an intense layer of guilt and self-loathing.
If you think about it, Alphys forgot something. I think she did, at least. Because she only done tests on dying monsters, not living perfectly healthy monsters. So they don't know if it would have worked. Like, Undying has determination, but she only starts melting when she dies, or is in the process of dying. So chances are, Undying has enough determination. But it works. She lasted longer than she would if she didn't have determination. It's just dying is the problem. When the monster dies, they melt.
Flowey's hateful, pathetic existence, or Mettaton's journey to transition into a...
Also, I have a theory, at least a little theory on how determination works. From, like, so, do you know this, right? Do you know, like, the red? Assuming this is determination, the best thing we can assume is a monster soul, right? Do you know how it breaks? Determination rather acts as glue, keeping the soul together when it should have broken, or it pushes it back together, like it's on the outside, pushing into it, keeping it together when it should have broken by now. But because a monster, it causes an effect on the monster's body that it shouldn't, if that makes sense. It's a theory on how determination works, but it wouldn't make sense. Because we see how this is full of determination. Perhaps it works the same with monsters, and maybe acts as a glue that keeps the soul together when it should have broken.
His hateful, pathetic existence, or Mettaton's journey to transition into a body they can be themselves in. Despite the fact that a single playthrough of Undertale takes about 6 hours, you get a lot of these characters, and I think a reason for that is...
Good point of that. Also, I don't know if, why does Alphys have a camera just built for the human? Or Mettaton, whatever, whoever built it. I'm sure it adjusts to any target, but it's kind of funny.
How subtly their personalities are communicated. Each character has a home that you can explore, full of all these little touches, like the Pyrus' race car bed. As a side note, I really like the mirror in Toriel's home that just says, "It's you." What a cute little joke, and certainly not a prelude to any massive emotional. As well as each...
Does that change in a genocide run?
Character having their own highly expressive theme music, like take Asgore, the king of the monsters waiting for you at the end of the game, who you are constantly told is this super nice guy, but who has also murdered 6 human children, your soul being the 7th and final one he needs to break the barrier trapping his...
Which wouldn't work anyway, because the souls would just reject him and kill him. I don't think people point out enough. His plan wouldn't work anyway. Yes, actually maybe a 7th soul would help, but even... Oh no, wait, yeah, 7th soul means it would work, sorry. Sorry. Look, I'm tired, okay? Yeah, it would work, but, like, the guilt of it, I don't think he would be able to handle it. Think about it. I feel he's too much of a coward to do it.
His people underground, and his theme music, the reluctant but frantic Bergentrucken, captures that. It is the
Bergen truck driving in my car right after a beer. I hate that. That song is stuck in my head. Bergen truck, though.
sound of a good person trying to convince himself to do something awful for what he believes is the greater good. And that same
I mean,
level of
it is
expression can be
right.
found
To him.
everywhere in the underground, even in a lot of the really tiny little side characters. From Burgerpants, the nihilistic, vaguely unhinged fast food worker, to Muffet the Spider, who is about as adorable as you could make one of those abominable hell creatures.
No, spiders are not adorable. They should be extinct. No, actually, the only bugs that should exist are bugs that we need. And no, honeybees are the ones that sting we don't need. Because our other insects that can do what they do, we can just get the bees that don't sting. And mosquitoes, I don't think they have a use. The only reason spiders are needed is to be a balancer. If we remove the things they're balancing, we don't need them anymore.
To Napstablook, the depressed ghost, who at one point asks you to lie on the ground with him and listen to trance music, and oh my god, I don't know that I've ever related to a fictional character this much. And it all comes together to create this world of memorable little creatures who have been forced underground by humans.
Tim.
Yet have still managed to scrape together happiness in that. But there's this undercurrent of longing for something more, a desire to escape the underground for a better life under an open sky. And it's sad, but it's that
Off topic, but like, the fact I assume we don't see the full underground. There is so much of the underground we don't explore. Like in the ruins, I don't know if we find it anywhere, but in the actual ruins, you can see a bit. We see an old village that I don't think gets used. Like, you can't go there, at least in normal Undertale. It would be such a fun Easter egg. I don't think Toby Fox will do it, but if they make it like that you can go in there, you can explore the old ruins of the ruins.
contrast that gives the world of Undertale its beauty. The reason I make a big deal about this is if you don't care about these characters, if you don't believe in this world, then the choices offered by Undertale's battle system, they don't mean anything. But if you do, that's where the option to kill or
That's a lot of damage. But also, I think it also comes to characters you actually like. Because I always found Toriel to be a kidnapper. That, like, sees a random child, clearly didn't know where they are, and just says, "Come with me now." And of course the child is going to do it because they're scared. But they don't really have a choice. They either go to Toriel or die. And Papyrus is kind of just a naive idiot. That's way too weak. And Undying's kind of the opposite. Do before you think. And I think that's kind of why I can kill them so easily. I don't like them as a character. I prefer Sans because he's quiet. He's mysterious, and he's actually probably the strongest monster if you don't look at HP. Because he can teleport, freeze time, and, well, teleport, yeah, it's teleporting. He calls it a shortcut, but it's clearly teleporting. It's freeze time, and even if he just does it in Grilby's, it shows he can do it.
or spare these monsters starts to carry real emotional weight.
Really hate me that much.
But it would...
Tora, you asked for it. You told them, in a neutral run at least, prove to me, it's like something about proving that they can last in the underground. So why are you complaining? This is what you wanted.
It would still all be for nothing if the game didn't react to your decisions in a meaningful way. And Undertale is extremely reactive to the player's actions, even in some really tiny idiosyncratic ways. Like Sans being able to tell that you've reloaded your save file and are experiencing the same sequence again. But
Sans can remember resets, or at least it's deja vu from resets. The only ones you can't get deja vu from are true resets. But normal resets you can.
But where this becomes a big deal is how Undertale reacts to your actions to shape the larger story. If you go through the entire game without killing a single monster, you'll go down the pacifist route, which means 0 level ups or stat increases, and it's difficult, but it's the only way to experience the full story of Asriel, Asgore, and Toriel's son.
Not anymore, you can see it for a YouTube video.
Killed by humans and now transformed into the evil emotionless flower that tried to take your soul at the beginning of the game. The final battle with him...
I mean, is Flowey Asriel? Or just... I mean, you could argue he is, but... they're so different. I wouldn't say they're the same. Like, yeah, Flowey makes faces of Asriel sometimes, and knows stuff of Asriel, but is it really Asriel? Or is it just a flower mimicking Asriel? Yeah, it is Asriel, but it doesn't feel like Asriel, because it really isn't, if you think about it.
Him seeing you and all the monsters you've spared facing Asriel and making him see through pacifism that he still matters. He is still loved despite the terrible things he's done and all the hatred he feels, until finally Asriel loses the will to fight and in one final act of repentance shatters the barrier sealing the monsters underground, freeing them to pursue a new life on the surface. At the end of it...
What happened to the souls? I don't know if I've ever said in Undertale, but we kinda... Did everyone just forget the souls have gone? 6 human children just died for nothing? Well, not for nothing, but they just died? Is that... like, there's so many, like... What happened to the souls? Did they get free? If they are free, and, like, when they get released, they become a human again, does that mean, you know, you could just, Asriel could have absorbed Frisk's soul, and then break the barrier, release their soul again, back into their body? Or give him a new one. He's technically a god and still has some power left in him.
Of it, there's just a feeling that you did...
Also, I don't know if this is like, but if Asriel has a power of a god, he's technically the god of a prophecy, as he has all the 7 souls, the equivalent of 7 souls, for the monsters. Can't he just create more souls? Or is it just something that says he just can't do that?
Did this, you showed these creatures a real kindness, not through any binary decision, but by consistently doing what you believed was right over what was easy.
You could also think about it in a self-defense situation where you are forced in a situation you don't want to be in, so attacking is right to some people. I know that's why he's saying that whether you feel is right, but you could also argue neutral route is also a fair ending, because if you was dropped in a mountain and you see random monsters trying to attack you, you're not going to, you know, want to spare them. You're going to attack them because you're scared. You want to be free. And then you get, you know, kidnapped by a goat person, you're still gonna... And then, like, it's a lot on you all at once. Of course you're gonna immediately attack the monsters, because Your first impressions of a monster was a talking flower that tried to kill you. You're not going to assume all monsters are the same, obviously, but also, the monsters attack you. They go up to you to attack you first. Yes, you are the one that chooses to fight them, but that does not mean that they are innocent. They fight you, right? Even in pacifist and Frisk, tries to help them. They fight. In a self-defense situation, you can fight them back. And also, it's a war, right? The monsters could still be considered in a war, and they still hate humans. Yeah, they're not going to spare you. Because, well, why would they spare someone? But still, they attack you first.
And the result is a ending that feels meaningful and responsive to your actions. A genuine statement of the power of love over violence, and fuck, I think that's kind of beautiful. But it's also here that things get really interesting. Go back to the title screen and you'll be met by Flowey, who warns you that there is one final threat to this world. You. You have given these characters the best possible life, and now you have the option to just walk away and let them be happy. Or you could reset the game and start again, ripping them from their ideal future. And what's interesting is he's not talking to Frisk the character.
Yeah, he's talking to you.
He's talking to you, the player. So why would you do this? Simple. Why do you do anything in any video game?
Curiosity, to get all the endings, to 100% the game. I said the same thing 3 times.
To see what happens. And specifically, what happens if you kill every single monster in the underground.
Natural.
This is what takes you down the no mercy route, or genocide as it's come to be known.
Is it not meant? I'm pretty sure it's meant to be called the genocide route, right? Mercy route? No mercy route, I guess. Well, there isn't a pacifist route called the mercy route then? Like, why we got no mercy then pacifist? Shouldn't it be called mercy, neutral, no mercy?
Online. I'm gonna call it no mercy from here, because otherwise YouTube might think that this is a very different kind of video than it is. No mercy runs are grueling.
Yeah, I guess so.
You have to walk back and forth through each area, killing every single monster, and it can take hours. But it's like the entire time the game is asking you, is this really what you want? And as you do, the underground...
But you can just reset time again, meaning that there's no consequences to your actions. You can just do a true reset, and time goes by like nothing happened, leaving only your memory of it, leaving only what you thought about it. That's... I know it's probably the point of it, but you hold that power in that way, which makes it really hard to... I don't know, like... Yeah, I know some people have a hard time with Papyrus. I found it easy because I didn't like him as a character.
Ground transforms into this haunting, empty place as the monsters flee from you, abandoning their homes and even leaving notes begging you not to hurt their family.
Why didn't they bring their family with them? It's because we're assuming that they brought their family, so why are they scared their family gonna get hurt? And why would they bother leaving a note? They obviously know you're not going to believe them or listen to them.
It feels cruel, like you are some terrible, violent force in this.
I mean, you could also argue that it's retaliation. Think about it. Asgore killed 6 human children. 7, but not technically. He technically caused the death. Kara, I'm talking about. He is the reason she died. If they just tried to get her back out, she would never have died. Meaning he did cause the death of Kara. Or Azriel, depends on how you think about it. So, what you're doing is just retaliation. Think about it. You are putting the pain that the children felt into, and you are giving it back to the monsters. Think about it. Also, they've done a war, right? Toriel, Asgore killed everyone. But the monsters aren't mad at Asgore or Toriel. So, they obviously agree with what they did. Like, you don't ever see a monster saying, I think Asgore did this and it was bad. They seem content. Meaning they agreed with his actions to an extent. So what you're doing in a genocide run is giving the pain back to the monsters what they caused in the war. The 6 human children. 7 if you count Asgore causing the death of Kara.
This world, the major encounters of the game changing to reflect that, and none more so than your battle with Undyne.
Also, Undyne giving you a shield is crazy.
Who, before the battle, is mortally wounded trying to save a child from you, and just listen to the dialogue here. Deep, deep in my soul, there's a burning feeling I can't describe.
Determination.
A burning feeling that won't let me die. This isn't about monsters anymore, is it? If you get past me, you'll destroy them all, won't you?
Yes.
Monsters, humans, everyone. Everyone's hopes, everyone's dreams. Vanquished in an instant. Right now, everyone in the world, I can feel their hearts beating as one.
You'll die. I know they don't mean it literally, Still, you die.
And we all have one goal, to defeat...
Not everyone. Most monsters don't even know what happened. They just got evacuated and probably wasn't told.
You, human, know, whatever you are.
Excuse me? You're talking to the person... You're talking to a genocide. I don't think they care. Anyways, this is going to be the end of this part. Goodbye.